Welcome to the BHLC podcast this evening. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I got a great show for everybody tonight, so sit tight. First and foremost, let me just say this. I'm down here at 21st Germantown, 1481 South Shelby Street here in Louisville, Kentucky, where I'm always at. Thank you so much for tuning in to BHLC podcast. Like I said, I got a great show for y'all tonight. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel. It's on YouTube, BHLC podcast. BHLC podcast. Subscribe. Also, give me a listen on Spotify. I'm on Spotify too now. Now, let me go over a couple of things. I got to go over a couple of things before we get started here. Being in this Women's History Month, I'm going to try to be a queen tonight, a light-skinned queen. But now let me give much love to my sponsors. Much love to my sponsors. Like I said, 21st Germantown guy. Let me talk about that. Tonight, they got a metal band playing here tonight. It starts at 7 o'clock, and the name of the band is March of Martyrs. Tickets in advance are $15 online, $18 at the door. The show starts at 7. That's tonight. It's a all metal band, and they got a couple good opening acts. So come down here and see that tonight. And they got great drinks and food here. Tonight's podcast is sponsored by the Smile Center, 7405 LaGrange Road. My dentist, Dr. Kane, he always keep me white and pearly. So also, too, tonight's podcast is sponsored by Nicole Incorporated. It's my niece. I think she had some type of fashion show today here in Louisville, and she's based out of Atlanta. She lives in Atlanta. And go to NicoleIncorporated.com, and she has all type of clothes, all type of diversities, and it's very, very affordable. You can even tell I sent you. Also, too, two things real quick. I was just at the Louisville Comedy Club Tuesday night, but I'll be back there again March 19th, closing down the place. March 19th, I'm going to be closing the place down. Yeah, yours truly. So please come out there and support me at the Louisville Comedy Club, downtown Louisville here. I think that's about it. I'm trying to make sure. I might have forgot something. Like I said, it's Women's History Month, and I really want to elaborate on it. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more as this podcast keep going on. So being that it's Women's History Month, which is really close to my heart more than anything, I thought about, I said, who can I get to do my podcast? Of course, I'm going to get some queens to do it. But I had to go deep and I reached into my resources to get somebody that's really, really just outstanding person. She's part of this peer group. I'm going to let her elaborate a little bit more, but I'm going to give them much love as they come to my podcast because she's such an outstanding person. And what she's doing for women of generation and young people is just outstanding. But I'm going to let her explain a lot of that to you. And like I said, it's the peer group, Moments to Remember. But y'all give it up for my good friend, LaShawn Moreau and Deja Downey. And I hope I didn't mess this name up.
You did.
Deja.
You messed it up.
Downey, did I?
You messed up.
No, you messed up
my name. You messed up my name.
LaShawn Marshall. I'm sorry. I don't want to mess it up on Women's Day. That's a bad look.
You messed everything. It's okay. You good.
That's a bad look. I don't need nobody.
Today is Women's Day.
Hey, thank y'all so much for being part of my podcast this evening. I really appreciate it, especially on Women's History Month. I know we got a lot of things to go over. I'm really excited about it because, and I know you've been on my podcast before, LaShawn Marshall, and so I'm really proud just to have y'all queens on my podcast. And but it's where I start my podcast, and LaShawn knows. I like to let the people know. Either one I can go first. Just tell them a little bit about yourself and what you represent here this evening.
Go ahead, Deja.
So I guess we're definitely here for several reasons, but thank you so much for the opportunity. I do appreciate it. I will second the motion that the food at 21st and Germantown is amazing. The food is delicious. Some of the best wings I have ever had. But now we got that out the way. So my name is Deja Downey. I'm the Chief of Partnerships at the Vision Group Marketing Consulting. But we're going to talk a lot about POP today, which is Partnered on Purpose, which is a joint venture between me and Miss LaShawn are co-founders in that nonprofit helping small businesses monthly. So love what we're doing there.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's great. That's outstanding. You want to go ahead, LaShawn Marshall?
I will do so. And I've known you so long that you recall back when we, of course, had our peer group meetings and you attended on a regular basis. We have merged and pushed the same mission so to speak, as you recall, and a lot of those things, but really elevated it with this partnership, of course, that is now called POP, which is Partnering on Purpose. And you, of course, remember that's part of the goal with Peer Group was always to partner. And now we've been blessed to partner with Deja Downing and others like her to really get this out here in the market to help these business owners. So that's one of the things that we're about. And then, of course, you alluded or said Moments to Remember, and that's the event management company we do for a lot of people. So that's what's going on currently.
Right. I know you had well, I'm gonna throw this out there first because I know you sent me a lot of stuff and I was promoting a lot of stuff on my page about what y'all doing as well, people, and certain events you do for people and things you do for young people of our generation. And I just think it's great that it's by being Women's History Month, how Women's History Month has really took off. It really has. And I was doing some research on it. It started back in 1980 when somebody did it in a week. They started doing it by weeks in 1980. And then it went on to this, which I think is definitely a great thing more than anything. So, and I wanted to say this. How do y'all feel about Women's History Month, especially with both of y'all doing what you're doing for the community?
Oh my goodness. I would say what I feel about Women's History Month is that it's necessary.
Yeah.
As you guys know, everybody knows that women are carrying and doing. And I recently just had a baby, so she's 8 months now.
Great.
So on top of that, and still in business and still operating, and the need does not stop. Business does not stop because life happens, if you will. So I definitely think it's always amazing for us to celebrate those that do so much for us in any capacity, in all capacities. But I'm also kind of petitioning for the Men's History Month too. I need a little something. Maybe
right.
Week. Yeah. Even if it was just a day just to get started, but we do
get one day of the year, Father's Day.
Everybody got to be. You have to be a father for that one. What if they're not a father?
What about the others, right? So I'm always an advocate for it, but just but I definitely stand in unity with my sisters and others who are like minded.
Yeah, and I'm in agreement with Deja in the aspect that. It needs to be just highlighted. I think based upon historically, women have not been, highlighted. So that's one of the reasons why this month has come to be. But I do feel as if we have to ensure that people can see it, meaning the youth can see it, others can see it, and then they could do the same. So I think just like anything else, people mirror what they see. And so by this being Women's History Month, they get a chance to maybe just a little spotlight on some women that they did not know were doing things of this nature.
Right, which is outstanding. I know you had and I guess I'll put this up too because I want to talk about it a little bit, and you kind of touched on it just now, just about a youth, because I know you sent this flyer to me about, a lot of kids nowadays don't really have a lot of outlets, a lot of things to do for whatever reason that may be. And we trying to make that better for our community as well as just our youth in general, Just thinking you were saying about the spring break overnight camp. Yeah, I think that is so great. And I was just sitting there looking at how it registered. I mean, that's great, especially, and I know some parents may need help doing it because I know it's a certain fee on that. But I think it's great. You can elaborate a little bit on it about that because I just think it's really great for kids that have that type of outlet today because kids don't have certain things to do during spring break. They're out here doing maybe things they don't need to be doing. If I've always said, if you don't have nothing to do, idle man can be idle wrong time. You start thinking different things, different thoughts. So.
You get out here and get in trouble. Yeah. So, Moments Matter is the organization, of course, the nonprofit that you're highlighting there. That we, it's really a nonprofit that is allowed us to really take what we do at Moments to Remember and show the youth a great time in different avenues, educational moments, and just really allow them to realize that all the moments matter. And so at these camps, and we usually highlight, spring break is one that if you are one of the parents who can't afford to take your child out of town and things like that, sometimes, we're doing staycations right in the house. And so what we decided to do many years ago was to host a spring break camp. It's not the whole week, you do want to spend time with your child during that time too, but just give the parents somewhat of a break as well without feeling like the child is just at home. So some of the youth, you'd be surprised. We've had kids who live right here in the city, but are so excited just to be in a hotel, to go on little field trips with other youth. We even bring classes, to the hotel, speakers, workshops, trainings, and we partner with other organizations like Men of Faith to ensure that you have mentorship for the males in the group too. So there's not, this is a chance for the child to develop during spring break and still have great spring break. So that's part of what we have enjoyed doing, and helping and working with other parents like ourselves. A lot of the youth, we know the parents. We're all, even Deja, if you don't mind me sharing, one of her children is a part of the camps. It's just a community of sorts, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's outstanding because, the youth need more outlets and everything. I even had somebody on my podcast with Echo was about exploiting children. And she was so outstanding. You wouldn't believe some of the things these children go through and what they go home to. Some kids only get a meal at school. It's just a whole lot going on right now. So anytime you can give them an outlet, that is truly, truly a great thing. It really is. And just keep doing that, because I think that is so great. And these kids need the outlet more than anything. I was talking to somebody, matter of fact, the other day at my job, and I was telling her, I said, love conquers all. I said, but I want to say this. People be surprised. I love conquers all. Sometimes a person just needs a text. And if you don't need a text, you might need a hug. Would you be surprised how much they help a person, whether it's a grown up or a young child? I tell people it all the time, so, and it really means a lot because we're going through so much, so.
Yeah.
And it really,
you just never know. You just never know.
No, in today's time, you really don't. And that's why I said you got to embrace, the days you have, the love you get from people, embrace it, so. And I don't know, I wanted to touch a little bit on this, which I know both of you are probably real powerful with this one. I'm going to just say, let me just say this. No, I'm going to say this because in 2025, and I'm very transparent with my podcast. I'm all about self-growth, and I'm going to be real transparent with you here. It's been times I've had to talk to somebody professional, and there's nothing out there. I'm going to put it out there because I don't care if you're man or woman. There's nothing the matter with talking about somebody professional, consider all the things we're going through. I always tell people, and I tell people this all the time, the thing you think is the worst thing for you could be the best thing for you ever in your life. So I tell people, there's nothing the matter with that. And that's part of self-growth. You got to know who you are and what you're about in order to grow as a person. So in 2025, I said to myself, and this ain't nothing against nobody, not even my wife. I'm all about my self-growth. And how can I be anything to you queens if I ain't right? If I'm not right, you know what I'm saying? I have to
be ain't right within. That's what Lauren Hill says. How you going to win when you're not right within? That's what y'all
leading right now. Y'all queens that are leading, you have to be right first in order to lead. You get what I'm saying? To talk to people. So y'all can elaborate. I'm just so happy about self-growth.
I'm gonna go ahead and I guess I go first on this one. I just conquered a 5K. I looked at myself back in October. I made the first post and I was like training for a 5K. And I was like, had my sisters on board and my uncles on board. Everybody was ready to go. And then they didn't get to make it to the actual race, but they were there in spirit. But I think the beautiful thing about it was to set goals for your life. We set goals for business. We set goals and plans for everything else before, to your point, your self-growth. And your self-growth has to be a goal that you set. Even if it's something small. I even cut out fast food the top of the year. I'm actually intermittent fasting, some things I'm doing for my health. Because after having the baby, we realized that, hey, you have great, perfect health. What are you doing with it? And I'm to the ground like nothing, just hanging out, So when it comes to self-growth, I just tell anybody to set your goals like you're taking care of your business. I mean, you in business yourself, your brand's your business. So how you feel about yourself and how you love yourself is going to reflect in how you reflect on you and reflect off others, so what you put out is what you get in. So I would say from my perspective is to always set goals for yourself. I have 6 on my list for the remainder of the year. And I'm pretty sure as we go along, there will be more. But just small tasks, just getting up at 5:30. And accepting 5:30 as my wake up time now, right? And stop going back to sleep.
Grass ain't even up at early. Grass ain't up.
Right. And then, going to bed at 9:30. I went to the Millennial Tour last night. I'm yawning.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
that. Concert, only because my bedtime is 9:30 and I'm still out. And my life is like, oh my God, it's 2:00. It's really 12. So set the goals, achieve the goals, and be proud and celebrate yourself.
Yes.
Celebrate yourself. People watch how you treat yourself as well. So that's all I have.
Yeah. I mean, I clearly love hearing all of the goals that Deja just shared that she has. And oftentimes that is something too that we have to look at, is that we don't try to just mirror someone else's goals. Don't get me wrong. Deja and I actually are workout partners as far as business. I'm gonna say that because I have not ran the 5K, nor have I signed up.
You did the half a K, huh?
I was away from the 5K, just saying, go Deja, go Deja.
Right,
I was one of those people in spirit. But moving forward, I decided that, for me, it's a constant reminder, though. It's not where I'm not, at a point where you think, oh, my goodness, you are in constant mode of being self-aware of ways to grow yourself outside of business. I think for me, I'm an ever learner. So I always look for things to grow business, help other businesses grow. But oftentimes I have to be reminded or remind myself, or maybe even God reminds me through health issues that, hey, you need to sit down and focus on your growth, not just the growth that you push yourself mentally, which I do that often just because, like I said, I love to do that, but also your actual growth as far as your health, So these are different areas that you can grow in. I think understanding that so many areas for us to grow, is huge, because I think people think it's just one piece. Like, oh, are you like you mentioned earlier, as far as your mental growth, as far as growing in that area. It doesn't even always, and I think people are scared of that, as you kind of highlighted. We know that to be the case for a lot of people of color. This has always been a stigma of, oh, I'm not going, what are you talking about? And then those things that we don't discuss, they kind of come out in other ways, or even if you don't realize that that's what it is. And even if you're not going to speak to somebody else, just being aware that you have certain things that you need to work on is huge too. I think that's a huge piece of self-growth too, is knowing that you need to grow in certain areas. So I think it's ever-changing, it's a constant conversation. I thank you for bringing it up.
Oh, yeah.
Me thinking about stuff what else I need to grow in, Lord help.
It's a mindset. I was talking to somebody the other day. It's strictly a mindset. And I was talking to them. They was talking to me about one of their problems, one of the issues. And I told them, I said, look, it's just best for us. I didn't really want to know what was going on. I said, but because when people talk to me, I said, I ain't got to know what's going on. If you just want to talk, I just want somebody to be here for you to vent on. With that said, I said, a lot of times when people either married, a relationship, or either friendship, I always tell people there's some type of darkness, some dark in you that you haven't let out yet or talked to somebody about. Whether in relationship or marriage. And once you talk about that and get that dark side out, because everybody got something in them that they haven't talked to some other person about ever. And you got to get it out. And once you get it out and it's out there, you feel so much better as a person, because holding something in can really, really bottle you up as an individual. Especially in today's time. You be lashing out at other people and be like, why am I doing it? It's because you holding things in you. And that's why I tell us a lot of times. And I told us, just go home and talk to your other person and hash all that out. I said, because once you hash all that out, you're going to feel a lot better, whether you're emotional or not. I said, I know women are a little bit more emotional than men, but, like I said, you gotta get, I say it, but it's just, I'm going to say this too. No, because look, it doesn't matter, because here's like, y'all a little bit more emotional than us, but I will say this. There are some men, we do cry. I was crying one day, and I'll never forget, I was crying one day, and a friend of mine came to me and said, man, what's the matter with you, man? Why are you crying? And this is exactly what I said to myself, man, these are tears of joy, not tears of sadness. Just because I'm crying don't mean I'm sad. He's like, wow, I never thought of it like that, lovers. I was like, yeah. So I said, you have to understand. I tell people, you have to understand sometimes, and as men, to see a man crying, a woman see a man crying, like, whoa, that's first thing. But it's nothing matter with letting it out, because you feel a lot better after you let it out. But like I said, it's all a mindset. Let me get back to the self-growth with the mindset. That's like, because like I work out, and you do 5K, right? That ain't happening with this license.
You can walk too if you want to.
I could do it online. That's about it.
No. They do got a virtual option. They really do have a virtual option.
You're right. That ain't happening. I do get on the elliptical at the gym. I do get on the elliptical machine. I got an exercise machine at home, but 5K ain't happening. I do work out once or twice a week. And a buddy man said, man, how do you have that mindset to go to the gym? I said, man, here's the thing with me with the gym. I said, I don't look at it as work. I look at it as part of who I am. I said, if you look at it as work, as it's not. And I told myself, the days I don't want to go are the best days to go because that's what makes me as a person, physically in the gym and mentally. I said, but I don't look at it as work. I look at it as part of me. And once you look at it as part of you doing it, you won't look at it as like, oh man, that's why my mindset's just a little different. So, and that's what keeps my self-growth more than anything. I said 2025, like I said, nobody's getting in the way of my self-growth. Nobody. The only person getting in the way is God. That's the only person. Yeah. So, but nobody's getting in my way. It's just where it is, my self-growth. So, and I have to be right in order to be a father, husband, comedian, BHLC podcast. I wear a lot of different hats, but in order to wear them hats, I got to be right inside.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. I have to be right. If not, I can't be right. I really can't. So,
now I'm gonna throw this in here now. I'm gonna throw this in here. You did say, women can be. I think we, of course, the outward piece of it, yes, but I also think men can be just as emotional, but they show it in other ways. It can come through as emotional anger. It can come through as so many different things, and it's like it's still emotions. Come on. Yeah. So I'm just saying, you know how I do. I gotta say something.
Say it's Women's History Day. Say it. Say it. Say it. It's women. And look, here's another thing I want to say about it being Women's History Month. You got the women that do stand. I was reading this one thing with women that do stand up for certain things and rights, or stand up for all women. And I think that is so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? With that said, but women. Okay, it's Women's History Month, Women's History Day. I get all that. But it don't have to be a day or a month. A woman, it could be every day. I tell people, whether you're a woman or a man, you know what I'm saying? It could be every day, but we just label it through society and everything where it's presented with titles. Women say that. My mother, like I said, left me, but she's still with me spiritually. And she was the only woman that I always looked up to as my queen, always. You know what I'm saying? I always respect women because of her. I come from a woman. So we have to understand that we all come from a woman. So let's just call it what it is. Like I said, just because it's Women's History Day, we can still talk about women and about uplifting the women after Women's History Day and after Women's History Day. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
Of course. I appreciate you, of course, bringing it up, but also because it's not just today, it's something that you carry on a regular basis through your life as well. Yes. I appreciate you highlighting.
Definitely. I have to, and y'all need to be, y'all should be uplifted. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. What I got on here. Let me see what I'm showing here. Let me get rid of that because I just want to ask y'all a question here because basically I know both of y'all. Like I said, y'all leaders and stuff, queens. What is the average day? For what y'all do each and every day. Moments to remember and what you're doing. Yeah, just give me an average day. What you do, so they'll know. Some subscribers know what you kind of go through an average day of throughout the day. What you're doing because I know it's not easy. Like I said, being a leader and have to talk all the time and really associate with people. So what's the average day for days are down? What's the average day?
An average day.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, that alarm clock goes off at 5:30. That's honesty. That's honesty. Okay. So first things first, priority is my family. So children first. So we get them to daycare, we get them to school. We're looking at about 7:30, 7:45. I'm probably talking to Miss LaShawn at that point. I'm probably giving the buzz. Have my golf talk with my buddy. Just check in and see how everything's going. Yeah. And then it depends. I have the privilege of also serving as the director of marketing communications for Simmons College, Kentucky as well. So I would say my average day is filled with all kinds of tasks. So I lead and develop team there at Simmons as well. And besides that, also making sure that my other team is taking care of clients on the TVG side. So I would say my day is filled with strategy. My day is filled with opportunity. My day is filled with maximizing the profits for companies. What I would also say is that strategy and opportunity breeds profit. So for me, that's the more priority for a lot of our businesses, right? No matter what it is, small, big, large, the size doesn't matter. But then also, like I said, I fast between 12 to 6, so it gets me back to about 12 o'clock. So I eat between 12 and 6. I'm sorry, I have 18-hour window before I fast. So I'm either juicing and eating. I meal prep my meals for those hours, and then we're back in bed by 9:30. but then we coming home cooking and all those good things. So I'm telling you, our day is pretty full. So when I hear somebody say, "Can I get in on the schedule?" I'll be like, "Yeah." And here's the link to schedule. So I would say that having a schedule, prioritizing what we have on the schedule, keeps everything aligned. Though without the schedule, some of the things that are impromptu can't happen anymore due to the time that we have. And I want to give individualized and personalized attention to people. So that's one thing I would say has changed over the years, is that now your time slot needs to be maximized. We can't lose a second. Time is very valuable. So that's a day in my life. Fitness does come in place. I actually have a motorized desk at home where I'm sitting at now, and I have a walking pad underneath. So I do walk while working and things like that, so I can still get my fitness going. Or if I'm going to the gym, I might go before that. Yeah, so it just really depends. But it's a busy life, but I enjoy it and I love it. And I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
Yeah. First of all, I need to get the walking pad.
Yes.
There might be somebody you put on the list. I'm surprised we haven't spoken about that. But I would definitely agree with scheduling. Having moments to remember it means that moments to remember is event management, planning, coordinating company, period. And who are we if we aren't organized? There's no way we could help someone else plan their event.
Right.
We can't plan our own, So a lot of my life is on a schedule. Meaning, do I adhere to the schedule every moment? But it's on the calendar. I'm telling you. I mean, even down to bills, things like that. I put a lot of things on the calendar, especially as I'm getting into my seasoned years, that I want to make sure I keep up with what is going on. Is that supposed to be happening? Now, I even add others to the calendar just so I can, hey, I made you aware. But at the end of the day, everything to a certain extent, my meetings, calls, things like that will be on the calendar, because otherwise it will be forgotten. And in order to try to prioritize, and I'm not saying nobody's 100% perfect at this, because we are all people, and that means we are not 100% perfect, but trying to prioritize your time and phone calls, stuff like that. You have to set a schedule. Otherwise, there was a time in my life where you've known me quite some time. I was all over the place. I mean, people were pulling me left and right, and their priority became my priority. And then I, basically that time we talked about self-growth, that was a piece that I needed to grow, to balance my life better. And so I think calendaring, organizing in that way. And I think when I say calendaring, people get a little scared, like, what do you mean? Like, everything, we have it on our phone. Most people have the Google right there on you. Just go ahead, throw it on there. Just throw it on there, so that, and you can even say, I'm doing it just to remind myself. But if you get in the habit of it, then you can actually kind of try to organize your life in a way that is beneficial for you, but also allows you to be the best person you need to be for the clients, for the business, and all that stuff. And you're losing, to be honest, you're actually losing when you don't prioritize and organize on those things. So
you, from day one, when I first met you,
Lord Jesus,
I'm gonna come on out with it. You've always been a go-getter and always been organized. From day one, when I first met you, I said, this young lady is very, very organized. And you talk like that too. I was like, it just all goes together, man. It's together. I'm like, she's very, very organized, and I commend you for that. I commend you for that, because everybody don't have that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you always have been. You organized, so I give you kudos for that. So
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, for real, you always have been. Like I said, so it's just what you've always been. So, and that's why I've always liked you, just with your personality and everything. So you've always been organized now. So
I mean, it may,
like I'm saying, people will pull you left and right. You're right, and that's why it's part of your self growth is let those people go who don't need you to pull. They mess with some of your time. It's important. You can be doing something more productive towards what you're trying to do. We forget about. I tell people all the time, if somebody's in the way of you being productive, and it's nothing against that person, whoever it may be, or the human being might be. I can't fool you. You fool myself growth for what I need to be being productive in,
Right.
And some people, they ain't gonna accept it. Well, so be it. And some be like, okay, I understand, so, but you have to do that for yourself. Because if you don't, you find yourself being pulled so much, you're like, hold on, let me Let me get this itinerary straight. Let me get it a little tighter.
Right.
So,
right. I mean, yeah, and I'm gonna bring this up because you were part of our, I want to say movement, but a part of our consistent education and training for businesses. And like I said, for me, it's been a habit, so much so that it's going on 20 years that every month there's a training or something, we're networking and doing that same thing. Yeah. So, and we still do it now, as I shared with you before. But I think what has happened too for me is that if you want some consultation or time just to get a few questions answered, guess what, you all? We're here once a month. Yeah, as opposed to everybody just calling the phone. Because I think that's happened a lot when we were having the trainings and things back then. Everybody then wanted my phone number so I can have a sidebar. I'm like, and then the whole month I'm up here getting it, and it's not even yielding what needs to happen. So at the end of the day, I think for myself and for Deja, who is part of this whole movement as well, is that it's easier for us to just push them to what we're going to do anyway, instead of making extra plans, that do not fit our overall schedule.
Right. So they just, I'm to my subscribers and to the people watching this, I was just thinking about this. So if people want to plan an event, people want help finding certain things just in general, just speaking in general, this is the thing to join for what you're doing, right? I mean, that's what I'm trying to explain to the people.
Okay, for POP, well, we had different things we highlighted so far, but POP is an organization called Partnering on Purpose. And they can just go to the website, which is www.partneringonpurpose.com. Simple as that. That actually is a platform to ensure that people who have startups, who are working on business, who just want to be around other like-minded business owners to ensure they're getting the latest information, updates. I mean, we just did a training last month on Google. A lot of people have a lot of access to things that they can do right in their own phone in the palm of their hand. They just they weren't aware. So our goal is to help those businesses and nonprofits alike to really kind of come together, but also learn as they're coming together, because they are not actually suited for a lot of the services we might provide if they're not educated on certain things. If you don't know, you don't know. And so these are things, as you know, has been a habit of mine and others, to just get out and network with one another, learn how to network, and also grow your business in ways that you look like a large business, even if you're a small business. So we do that monthly. Usually it's the last Monday of the month. And we're on social media, on Partnering on Purpose, is on Facebook. It's on, that's Deja's area. Deja, where else are we?
Instagram, soon to be YouTube. We're working on our YouTube page to the live stream, the extra trainings. And then also, they when they go to the website, they can go ahead and sign up for the next workshop as well.
Yes.
So that's something that we're passionate about.
Yes.
Training development is necessary. I think also, too, to the point Ms. LaShawn just made, you coming to get services from us, if you come to get digital marketing services or web development services, you need to be educated on how to use those things. A lot of people in my field will pigeonhole you in the sense of you get these services and then you're unable to actually work or navigate these systems once you no longer work with this company. And that's by design. My goal as the founder of this company is to be able to let people know what they can do to maximize their profits after we're no longer there. The biggest success stories for us is when, guess what, they're still in business years later, and we can look up and be like, oh, we remember when we ran that campaign, and they're still using the same tactics. I looked at a restaurant really quickly that we worked with, and I looked back and I had they was making strawberry lemonade and peach tea without the extra fruit in it, and I was like, so you putting flavor in? I said, put the fruit in there. It elevates the experience of the glass. And then also make it a clear cup. Why put it in styrofoam? You can't see what's in it. Right. And I look back at their pictures and they're doing the same things today. And they're selling them at a higher price. So the tactic work and things like that, I'm proud of to see that people are still incorporating the different things that we've been able to provide.
Because you have a lot of people, whether it's man or woman, young queens or whatever, trying to get started in small business, whatever it may be, and they need just a little push, a little help. And that's where y'all come in, which I think is great because there's so many people trying to start business, small business or whatever. They just don't know what direction to go into. Like you said, LaShawn, if you don't know, you don't know. But have that ear to listen to somebody who can help guide you is really truly a great thing. I want to start my own business. Since y'all do small business, I want to start doing light skin products. I think y'all can help me.
I'll stay in the house.
Coming back to
products only. I'm ready to pay here.
You need to start coming back to the meetings. You used to
okay, I need so that's why I need.
Yeah, you need to start coming back.
So we check with your itinerary to get in that meeting.
Get you back on the schedule, sir. So you're organized.
If I ever can make time between being, like I said, all these hats I wear and being the staff.
Yes.
But I do need to. And let me just say that they were great meetings, and I'm sure they're still great meetings because you lead. I know they are. So now with that said, I've had a great time. But before I get out and let y'all get out of here, y'all got to put out there how to get in contact with you all for what y'all doing, so people can get in contact with you all through your social media or whatever. Nothing too personal, just your social media handle. So let people know how they can get in contact if they need some help marketing or moments to remember or something youth wise or whatever before we get out of here.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and reiterate Partnering on Purpose. That's, like I said, a joint thing that myself and Deja are really passionate about. But you can always see what the upcoming events are on just www.partneringonpurpose.com or find us in the same on all the social media handles such as Partnering on Purpose. We call it POP for short, but feel free to check us out there. For Moments to Remember, if you need any type of assistance, a lot of people don't even know what they need until they need it. But Moments to Remember is on the same as Moments, the number 2. Remember.co is the website. And then just Moments to Remember 502 on all social media platforms, handles, whatever. And then the nonprofit that we spoke about, Moments Matter 502. It's on, Facebook. momentsmatteryouth.org is our website. And that's it. Go right ahead, Deja.
Perfect. I can say pop again one more time for the people back in the room.
For people in the back. Yeah.
Please Facebook and Instagram if you're going to be looking for us. That's where we would be, Partnering on Purpose. I want to make sure I reiterate that. And then I think too, as far as the Vision Group Marketing Consultant, we are thevisiongroup.marketing.com. And then also on social media, on Facebook, we are TVG Marketing, and on Instagram, TVG Media. So if anybody needs any marketing services, that's as far and wide as social media marketing, all the way to billboards and television. All those things all are looped in, depends on the budget and what their expectation, what their goals are. So, yes.
Well, hey, this has been so. Let me just say this too. Please do not hesitate to chat message me anything you want me to put out there for you. Because I put all type of stuff on my page for comedians, a lot of people that's been on this podcast, because I believe in reaching out and be the extra helping hand. Because I stay humble. I don't never know when I might need somebody's hand to help me. So don't hesitate to chat message me, and I will put it out there for you. Because I know y'all doing great things, So please don't hesitate at all. Like I said, I love the fact that you Queens are just doing so many great things, and I'm so glad you was part of my podcast. Continue doing what you're doing. I'm enjoying this more than anything. I got to make sure I pass on down here. I got to let you know I'm going to run this podcast again. So hopefully y'all see it again. I'll let you know the link or whatever, and you can just check it out. And hopefully somebody see it and get in contact with y'all and try to do better things in their life by contacting y'all and try to market something or Moments to Remember, whatever, and make sure you continue. I'm going to say the most important thing too. I'm going to continue to push about our youth, because our youth is up. So I'm always telling the youth, because I've talked to a lot of young people in my job. It's like, man, this generation is just so they're different, but the principles are there. You have to understand that. I tell people they might be different, but the principles there. And it's all about how you grasp it. Because a lot of them want some leadership. They want some. Sometimes they just don't know how to reach out. So, and I know y'all doing an outstanding job with that. So keep doing that too. It's really been great.
I'd like to say something.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I was going to say that I'm kind of dating myself, but although that I've been knowing you a long time, you're the same person, that you've always been. I appreciate you reaching out and even sharing all of this, as well as continuously doing. This has become just like a habit for me once a month for the training, networking, and all that. This is what you do and have done for a long time as well. So I just give you kudos and commend you for you. Give you flowers,
especially on Women's History Month. I appreciate them flowers, girl. I appreciate that.
Go ahead,
No, I do. I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate it because I just, like I said, I've always tried to be a person, stay humble and just give back. I tell people, and time is important. Y'all said something about time. Time. I know people say time is money. Yeah. But also time is valuable, not in money ways, but other ways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like mental health is as important as physical health, that type of way. Time is important. So don't waste a person's time. I tell people, anybody can waste somebody's time. Give somebody your time with some valuable stuff, So that's all. Time is important. I really have enjoyed having both of you queens on here on Women's History Day, and it's just Women's History Month and everything. So continue doing what you're doing. Do not hesitate to hit me up if you need any help for us promoting something, because I believe in helping the person out. And it was nice meeting you, Deja.
Thank you. Nice meeting you as well.
I'm hoping I see you out there running 5 miles sometimes soon. Watching you run.
It's 3 miles, 5K. It's a little easy, not even as much. You can do it.
I'll cheer you on. Go.
But what does BHLC stand for?
Okay.
It's his name.
My name is Big Head Light Skin Comedian.
He's been a comedian for years.
Yeah, Big Head Light Skin comedian.
That is hilarious. I did not know, but then you said I could really. Okay. All right.
He was
Big Head Light Skin comedian. Long story behind that, but I label myself, and I think it's the perfect brand for what I am and who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My mother. Let me tell you something. You queens did a beautiful job having kids, but for my mother to have this big old head. She had a whole lot of woman power. Let's just put it like that. That's why I am grateful for her. I really am. So, but I had a great time enjoying your smile, your presence, your aura, everything. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I really enjoyed it. And I want to thank you again for being a guest on my podcast, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And keep smiling and enjoying life and work on that self-growth. But I am not doing no 2 and 3Ks. Okay,
2 and 3Ks. Now we gonna flip it around.
Let me see. We'll get you the virtual link.
Yeah, y'all had to start me on the beginner level. When you walk around the block or something. I know the sign. She probably be right where we walk. Let's do the walk. Right.
I'm getting the walking pad, sir. I'm getting the walking pad.
I gotta call her.
Walking from my desk. I'm walking.
Yeah, and I'm talking all this smack, and I ran track, and I don't even want to run no more. But it's because I got older.
I'm done.
But it's been great. I've really had a great time tonight. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too.
Thank you for being the guest. I see y'all. Thank everybody for watching the BHLC podcast. I'll be back next Saturday, second Saturday every month at 6 o'clock. And like I said, y'all keep supporting these queens. Y'all enjoy y'all night. Thank y'all for being guests. Well, that's the end of my podcast. Thank you for tuning in to BHLC Podcast. Remember to subscribe on YouTube, BHLC Podcast, or give me a listen on Spotify. Thank you for tuning in and enjoying this podcast. I'm down here at 21st Germantown, 1401 South Shelby Street here in Louisville, Kentucky. Come down here and support what they're doing too. Great food and drinks. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening.